In this recording, I wanted you people to, especially young millennials and Gen Z, to understand the origins of these two towns, Nakuru and Habaswein in northeastern. Everybody knows Nakuru, but who knows where Habaswein is? Now, if you look at the map of Kenya, to the east, you'll find that there is a place where the line is very straight from south to north. But at the end of that border, there is a boundary which goes from, it goes south, one it goes north, southwest to northeast, and another one leaves. There's a place called Elwak where the boundary goes from southeast to north, from southwest to northeast. Yes, from southwest to northeast, and then down here towards Coast Province, you'll find another border which moves from northwest to southeast. Now, if you draw an imaginary line, because this thing will comes to draw something like if you draw those two boundaries into Kenya, you will draw something that looks like what is this triangle that used to be in a geometrical set? What is the name of that triangle in a geometrical set? There is a right angle triangle. We used to have two triangles in the geometrical set, but I think you remember them. If you draw the two, the boundary from northeast and from coast, you'll find you have an imaginary triangle inside Kenya. Now, where these two imaginary lines meet, where there is the right angle triangle, is a place called Habaswein. Habaswein. Now, that Habaswein, in Kisomali, it is called Habasweina. Habasweina. I wanted to tell you the meaning of that town, Habaswein or Habasweina, and I also wanted to tell you the meaning of Nakuru. Now, you wonder how a small town in the middle of the desert can be equated to Nakuru, and you know Nakuru, it's now a city. Eh? We have cities like Nakuru, Eldoret. We have cities like Kisumu, Mombasa. Of course, Nairobi, I will not count it. So you ask why do you find us at a small trading center and call it I mean equate it to Nakuru? Well, Nakuru is a Maasai word. We have this thing that is called sandstorm. Sandstorm. Sandstorm, the wind goes very fast, goes round, 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 picks a lot of things like papers or whatever, lights them up, throws them up there, and it will be thrown in a very distant place. In Kiluhia, sandstorm is called Esimbulumbusi. And in Kikuyu, it is called Gomashia Aka. I think people who are for women gender rule may not like that Kikuyu word, Gomashia Aka. Kikuyu forefathers used to believe that when a woman is mad or demons have entered her brain, then her head goes in that circular way. That is why they called it Gomashia Aka. Madness of women, or even confusion of women, demons of women, yeah. But in Luhya, Simbulumbusi, it means wind moving all over, circular manner. So in Luhya, it's a bit polite. But in Kimasai, it is called Oloikur. Oloikur. So when Mzungu came, he was told, of course, I've recorded something about Nairobi about more than a year ago. I even went to around a museum where I showed River Nairobi. River Nairobi is called Enkare Nairobi. It is not River Nairobi. In Kimasai, it is cold water, Enkare Nairobi, because rivers are called Waso, Waso Nyiro, Waso Kedong, Waso whatever. That is what rivers are called. But Nairobi was a stream. It is still a stream. So it was cold water. Enkare ni water. And that's why bogi Masai. Ayologi Masai. Sasa, Enkare Nairobi means Enkare is water. Nairobi is cold. It becomes worse. It becomes worse like in July. July, the weather in Nairobi is not Nairobi. July weather in Nairobi is Enkichabe. You know, in Nairobi is not that cold, but you see for Maasais who are from Laikipia to Kajiado to Narok, they considered Nairobi to be very cold. But when it becomes extreme cold, like in July in Nairobi, or even midnight in most towns, especially if it has mist, then it becomes Enkichabe. Enkichabe, extremely cold. So that is where the town Kijabe got its name. So Nairobi, forget about your. I don't want to tell you to go and demand money from your history teacher, but I tell you, send something to the till number. Nairobi just means cool. But if it becomes cooler than cold, it's become Enkijabe. But then this wind sandstorm is called Oloikur. Oloikur. When Mzungu was told that this is a place where there is Oloikur, but I think there was also an input of the Kikuyus, because Kikuyus, anything, they used to place the NA or NYA. NA or NIA. Nyahururu. Nyahururu is that water ikiteremuka inapiga kelele. So Maasai called it Oloiururu because of the sound. But the Kikuyu came and said Nyahururu. The same with Nakuru. I believe Kikuyu also put some effort in it to add, because Nakuru, Nyahururu, Naivasha, these are names that were some Kikuyu input on it, and that is why Naivasha is Oloipasha, dry place. Although that one I'll have to consult my neck-top computer, but you find that the placing there, Oloipasha was called Naivasha. Oloikuru was called Naikuru, which was that sandstorm, Oloikuru. And that is how Naikuru was named after a sandstorm. But in Kisomali, sandstorm is called Habaswein. Habaswein. But non-Somalis could not pronounce Habaswein. They call it Habaswein. Habaswein. A lot of sand. A lot of sand. Habaswein. So it was called Habaswein. Lastly, you can remember in Nakuru, we have a place called Kivumbini because kuna kivumbi mingi sana huko. Viewers, we have come to an end of today's lesson. Thank you.